All right, so we are talking about the Epic Cisco ACI. So Cisco ACI is nothing but like an application-centric infrastructure. Full form is that one, and it is like an software-defined network access, like software-defined for data center. So whatever you are doing with you are doing in an it's like an application or some kind of a dashboard you will be having. In that dashboard you will be doing like a software defined access, you will be having that one. So in data center, so that's the reason we are using the ACI. So now coming to the ACI, how the architecture will be, it will be like two-tier architecture at least in this one. So one will be the spine, number one, and here it will be the all of them will be the leaf. There can be multiple leaf and everything will be connected to the spine. And if you have multiple spine to here, so every leaf will be connected to every spine. So one of the ports will be connected to one of the spine, every leaf. All right, so you can have up to maximum of 80 spines in a data center, and you can have up to maximum of 300 leaves in a data center. Coming to the ACI, it will be connected to this one, and maximum ACIs you can use in a data centers are 31. So if you are having a multiple ACIs, so I will add a leaf here, one more. And you will also have a leaf here. So one of the ports will be connected from here, one of the ports will be connected from here to here. And again, I will be having one more ACI here. And here also I will be having the one more ACI. And when connecting to the ACI, you will be having only two ports which will be connected to two leaves, that's all. If you have multiple leaves also, you will be connecting only to two leaves. So you can have up to 1 or 3 minimum. Minimum is 1, 2 is not allowed. You cannot have 2, but you can have 3.
Okay.
And now these ports, these cables which are connecting to the leaf to the spines, this will be of 40 GB or 100 gigabyte of cables. And these cables which are connecting from leaf to ACI will be 10 gigabytes. And the ports these are the ports which are connected to leaf spines or leaf to ACI. Nothing will be configured on this one. You just need to plug in, that's all. You are not doing any configuration on this one. In all these ports, you don't do any configuration. There is no configuration. So now the configuration, where it will be, the configuration will be on the different ports of the leaves. From here you will be connected to your servers, or here you will be having another host here. It might be like a web server here, and it can be a VPC domain here, or it can be a port channel or VPC domain, anything it can be. So we will be configuring these ports, not these ports. This will not be configured. Only we will be configuring these ports. By these ports, here what we will be defining is that we will be defining to this port like 10 GB of cable data. You should have, this port should have the capability of 10 GB of data handling, and it should be discovering. So if this one is a like Cisco server, we will go with a CDP protocol, discovery protocol. It's like a Cisco discovery protocol. If you have the same Cisco and Cisco, because these are Cisco switches, so these are Cisco servers, then this protocol will work automatically. But if you have non-Cisco here and you have Cisco here, then you will be running LLDP protocol, link level discovery protocol.
Okay.
All right. So now, so after having this knowledge, now coming to the spine, this is my spine. and these are my leaves, and this is my ACI. So this is a small architecture which we are taking as an example now. So when I configure any of these ports here, so it's like from ACI you are making a templates. So for this port, by default, not by default, we are creating like a CDP enable template, and we are saying that LLDP disable. So here I have a Cisco server. So now the discovery, how the discovery happens is like you will make a template first, like CDP enable, because this is Cisco, and I will say that enable. And this is, if it's non-Cisco, then I will enable this one, LLDP. So after defining these two templates, these are only created and kept in a dashboard in an ACI. These are only kept in an ACI, we are not using it. But after that, we will be going into the leaf switches. In that leaf switches, we will be creating the profile for interfaces. We will create a policy group. In that group, we will define these parameters. After defining these parameters in this one, we will define some domains, whether it is a physical domain, layer 2 domain, or layer 3 domain, or virtual VMM domain. So what kind of domain you are assigning, you will define in this policy group. After this policy group is ready, you will assign this policy group interface. So it's like before pushing any configuration to this interface, you are making a template with all the settings and all the parameters. And after that, you are pushing those settings to the leaf. And when the leaves sees these parameters and all those things, it will automatically assign those parameters to that particular port. All clear?
Yeah.
So this is how it works. Now coming how to access the ACI. So now this is my ACI. So here I will be having ports 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 of another ports also, sorry. Total 6 ports. These 2 ports will be going to the leaves. One will be CICM port, Cisco integrated port, management port, CIMP, sorry. And this will be the console port, and these 2 will be the dashboard ports. So now this will be connected to the leaves, that's nothing to do, but this one will be connected to your management PC, but here you will get a GUI in which you will get the information of hardware. So what is the health of your hardware, any issues and all those things will be in this IP address. So you will be having a different IP address like 192.168, 1.1 or 1.10 here, or here you might be having 20.0.0.5 or something. So this IP address is different and this one is different. So from this IP address, you will be accessing to hardware. So this IP from this console port, you will be accessing the ACI, CLI. And from these 2 ports, you will be accessing the Fabric dashboard. So this is where you will be doing all the settings and you will be making all the parameters and all those things. Everything you will be defining here. So this is all related to the hardware. This is related to the connectivity, and this is related to the ACI console, CLI. And we are interested in this one, Fabric. So here we will see how.
Okay.
Yes.
We are going to work on Fabric itself.
Yes. So what you're doing in the production, it will be only here. So all 90% things will be done here only. Sorry.
Okay.
Everything will be done here. So 10% is like until if you do not get any dashboard, then you will go to the CLI to check what's the problem. And if you want to check for the maintenance, regular maintenance, you will go to this port. So this dashboard will be available for hardware checking, health and all those things. And this is for the fabric and this is for the console port.
Oh.
So now coming to the architecture now. So it will be, every time it will be 2-tier architecture, spine, leaf and ACI. This is the minimum requirement. So these all switches which we are using, these will be 9000 series switches, Cisco Nexus 9000 series. Alright, so whenever you are running ACI, you should know in your mind that these switches are Cisco 9000 series switches. So whether these switches can support like spine and leaf also. So you can make this switch spine and leaf or spine and leaf or spine and leaf depending upon the model which you are buying. So there are some models which support both spine and leaf. They can become as a spine, they can become as a leaf. But there are some models they can only be spine, they can only be leaf. So you have to keep in mind this one. So you are using ACI fabric, just keep in mind that these are 9000 series ports. And coming to the ports, if you are using with the ACI, these ports will be related to the ACI only. That means the ACI will push a software for them. So if you want to add any ports, if you have some of the empty slots, if you want to add ports, you have to make sure that that is compatible to ACI.
Okay.
Because in a regular 9K switches, you can add, if you have any empty slots, you can add any line cards. That doesn't matter, any ports you can add. But when these switches are in a fabric, then you have to make sure that those ports, any slot you are adding, they should support ACI. Compatibility should be ACI compatible. So done. So now how the discovery happens. So this is spine, this is leaf, and this is also a leaf, and this is the ACI. So when you connect and when you access the dashboard here, automatically with the help of CDP protocol, leaf, these switches will be, you can discover these switches. So when in production, whenever the switches have been discovered, you will define that this switch is leaf and this is spine. Alright. So whenever in the production, whenever the switches are discovered, you will manually define that. So, okay, mind, you will tell to your ACI that this switch is leaf and this switch is spine. Manually you will be telling that to leaf, to the ACI.
ACI, yes.
So ACI doesn't know whether this one is leaf or not, but this switch supports leaf and spine. If it only supports leaf, then ACI will automatically tell that I have discovered the leaf.
Okay.
But if it supports both, then it will ask you what I should do with this switch. So when you make a leaf, it will make a leaf. If you make a spine, it will make a spine. If the switch only supports leaf, then it will automatically say you that it's a leaf.
Okay.
So by the help of CDP protocol, it will automatically discover it and it will assign an IP address. So we will see installation of the ACI, how the IP address will be assigned, because in ACI we'll be defining some pools, IP address pools. So from that pool, it will assign one of the IP addresses to individually to get connectivity. That's all.
It will assign by itself only,
It will assign.
by itself.
Yes, we will be providing the pool that whenever I install the ACI, I will say that whenever you discover any switches, this is the pool you have to use, like 30.0.0.5 or starting from
Okay.
this network /24.
Instead of assigning IP address, we are assigning
We are
for
just
a pool.
assigning the pool. We are saying that use this network to assign my switches, discovered switches.
Yes.
So whenever the ACI discover these switches, it will automatically provide the IP address with the help of like DHCP DORA process.
Okay.
It will automatically be assigned. So clear about this one?
Yes.
So now we will see where we will be defining this IP pool and how we will be getting the ACI Fabric dashboard. So I will be using in this lab, the whole lab, it will be the virtual one. So whatever we are doing in the virtual, the same scenarios will be, or same settings will be done on the production. And we cannot verify after doing our lab. Okay. Since it's a virtual, we can do the settings, how to configure some of the labs, but we cannot verify. But I can show you virtual VMM domains, so how we can push the switch and all those things, but not with the physical one, not with the layer 2 and layer 3 domains.
Okay. Is there any software which we can install and practice this?
Yes, you can install the software. If you want to install this software, then so the software is of total of 5 parts. Each will be containing 10 GB part. One part will be of 10 GB. Then again, you have to combine totally together and it will become 50 GB file. And if you want to install, you can install this one in ESXi. And after that, you need to have the resources like at least for ACI, you have to give 12 virtual CPUs and at least 24 GB of RAM. But you can go with 8 virtual CPUs and 16 GB of RAM. And this is only for the ACI, but for the ESXi you need extra 1 GB. Then again for your system you need extra of 4 GB at least. So it's like 16, 420, at least you need 32 GB RAM PC. Alright, clear with the specifications? Alright, now I will go ahead and I will
So you're logging into the ACI now.
First I will log in into my ESXi, then I will turn on my ACI.
Okay.
So this is my ESXi. In that ESXi I have installed the ACI. Now I will turn on the ACI. So enter. So you see here, he's saying me that I have 2 ACIs, but I cannot use 2.
Yes.
I can use only 1 or 3. So I will go with first one. So here now it's asking me to enter the fabric name. So I'm giving I'm using the default names ACI fabric 1 and the ID, because I have two, but I cannot use two, but I have to give 1 or 3. So I'm giving number 1. And how many active controllers you have? Only 1. And the pod ID, what pod ID you want to give? Only 1.
Yeah.
This is not a standby because I have only 1. Controller ID is 1. Already we have provided that one. So again we are giving that one. And we are providing the name as an epic one for this controller. And here you see that temp addresses. So this is the one 10.0.0.0./16. We are giving the temp address. So we are saying that use these subnets, use this network to provide the addresses for the spine on leaf. And see VLAN ID, keep it default as 4. It will communicate with the leaf and spine on VLAN ID 4. So this is the pool broadcasting address 225.0.0, and I'm not giving the IP version 6, but I want to give the IP version 4. So I will go with IP version 4, and I will provide the IP address by which I can access the fabric. This is the management one, not the hardware one. Right, 192.168.182.150/24, and the gateway 192.168.182.1. I keep the duplex mode auto, and I will say no for this one. I will give that admin 1 to 3. Do you like to edit? No? Yes. So now it will reboot and it will bring up the fabric interfaces. So I'll go ahead and log in by admin and password. I'm able to access, so I'll go ahead and I will go with, so whenever you're taking the access, you should go with HTTPS and the IP address which we have provided for the ACI. So in the production you won't get the certificate error, everything will be done for you. So admin, yes. Whenever I log in, I will get this welcome page first. So here it will ask you to go by default, begin first time setup. So I am just closing this one because I want to show you where I can access the discovered the switches. So whenever you log into your ACI Fabric dashboard, go to the Fabric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Profiles, right? Policies.
It's still loading.
Okay.
Now it has been totally loaded. Now we should not get any error. In the CLI, if you can see that epic 1 hash, then it's totally loaded. So now I have logged in. So now I will go to the Fabric. After going to the Fabric, I will go to Fabric membership.
Okay.
And I will go to the registered nodes and nodes pending registration. I want to go because I want to discover. This is my first time. And here you can see that it's already been discovering one of the leaves. Because the switch which it is discovering, it can only become leaf, not spine. So that's why it is automatically showing you leaf. So I will click on this one and I will click on this settings and go to register. After register, I will provide a number for my switch, that is like 101 for example, and I will provide a name for this leaf like 101, leaf 101, and I'm defining the role as leaf here and register.
Okay.
So once I do the register, it will take some time and it will come back to registered nodes and it will show leaves 1.
Okay.
So it will take like 2 to 5 minutes. See here, it got the address from 10.0.144.64. So we define the address as 10.0.0.0/16. See, it automatically picked that address. And the status is still unknown. It will become active when it has been totally discovered. Now I have given the leaf name as leaf 101, node number as 101, and the pod ID, because I created only one pod while installing the Epic, it is showing me only one pod, that is number 1. And the model number, you can see here the model number. Now I will go back to again. You see your status has become active now. So now I will go to nodes pending registration. Now it has discovered one more switch, that is spine.
Fine, yeah.
So I will go to again, select that one, select settings and register. And for this one, I will go ahead with like 201 number, 200 series number, and I will say that it is a spine and name is spine 201 and role is spine and register. So again, it will take time.
And then it will give you, right? In the spine.
So now in this virtual ACI, so I am having, in this virtual ACI, I will be having one spine and 2 leaves. So this is a virtual environment. This software contains this architecture. So one spine, 2 leaves.
2 leaves? Yeah.
So we have discovered 1 leaf and 1 spine.
Yes.
Now you see here discovering still, and it has already given the address, right? Now I will go back to again nodes pending, and again it has discovered one more leaf, that is another leaf.
Yes. Yeah.
So I will go again on settings, register, and I will give this number as 100 series, so 102, and I will say that this is leaf 102 and the role is leaf and register. And now you see here both spine and leaf are active, and I am just waiting for one more leaf.
Yes.
So how many leaves you have, that many leaves you have to get discovered. So now it has gone from here, it will become on registered.
Yeah.
So if you have any issues, then you will click on the bell icon here, and here you will find the issues. What are the issues it's facing for? Here we have like insufficient in-service controller, because we don't have 3, so that's why it is showing us an error.
Okay.
That will be by default, it will be available all time. You do not have 3. So this is the fabric tab where you will be discovering your leaf. That is the number 1. So here the leaves have become now 2.
2 leaves.
Now the leaf is active. If I go to my bell icon, here it is also providing me the status. The leaf 1 or 2 is now active. So here these are the bookmarks, change my password, SSH keys. If you want to take the SSH of the ACI, if you want to create new keys, then you can create here new keys. If you want to change your certificate, you can change here. If you want to view your permissions, you can view here. Or settings are related to the dashboard only. Now coming to the settings, you have different things here. We are not interested in that one. So now coming to the system, tenants, fabric, virtual, one by one, we will be seeing what it is. So now coming to the system, this is your dashboard where you will be finding by default some of the information, and you can customize accordingly according to yourself. So in that system, this is a quick start. This is a dashboard. So currently we are viewing the dashboard. If you go to the quick start, you have different options here. If you go to controller, we have only one controller, and that is the information. If you go to the topology, you can see that leaf 101 connected to controller. So you have different topologies. Go to controller, Epic Node 1. This is the one which we are only connected to.
Created. Yeah.
So all the information, the information you need, you will be having in there. These are all related to the Epic information. ACI. So NTP server, we don't have any NTP server. If you want to provide, you can provide by clicking here, save as, or adding somewhere.
Okay.
So all these are related to the Epic only. But these are, since virtual, you cannot do any configurations here. So now these are system settings here. And now smart licensings. If you, virtual will be not registered anyhow, but if you have the physical device, from here you will be registering to the Cisco licensing account. Once you connected with the Cisco licensing account, it will automatically download the license accordingly. And here are the faults. What are the different faults? Means like this one, if you have this symbol, infra, that is internal. If you have this one, internal. So what is kind of errors we are having here? So infra, external, everything is just for you to know that. Infra means inside, external means from outside. Who is having the fault? Is your Epic is having the fault, or your fabric is having a fault, or external entity is having the fault? So these are the different negotiations and icons. Configuration zone.
To understand.
Yes. So this is to understand what kind of fault you are having here. So we are currently having that one of these, red color. So now here you will see all the events what we have done. So this is audit log. Everything will be noted down what you have done from 0 to like when you start your session. And active session, who is the active session? Me, because this is my system IP address. All right, physical laptop IP address. So that's why it is showing me.
Okay.
Admin is logged in with this IP address, host, time, and all those things. And coming to the tenants, we will come back to tenants this one later on. But first we will go back to the fabric now. So now we have discovered all the switches and everything is done. Now for first lab, we have one host here. We have one host here. And we will be having one more host here. And you want to make them communicate. These two should communicate. So how this communication works is like the traffic will come to this port. From this port, the traffic will go via ACI.
Okay.
because this scenario is a physical domain.
Oh, okay, okay.
Physical domain, and this is like a bare metal hardware. BMH, bare metal hardware. So this one is a server. This is not like a virtual machine. There is no virtual machines running here. Only this is a physical server. Alright. So physical server. The traffic should go via ACI. It's a physical domain. So for spine, you will be going via like routing protocol, BGP, OSPF, redistribution. So these all things will be done on the spine. But here we are going with the physical to physical, so that's why the traffic will flow through ACI. So we will do the configuration for this port. So this port may be, for example, 1/20, and this port will be 1/10, maybe. It's up to you. Any port it can be on your protection. So I'm taking 1/20 on leaf 101, and I'm taking 1/10 on leaf 102. And I want to configure a static communication between these two. Alright. So now how we should be doing. So I'll go back to my fabric now. So first I have to do the physical connectivity issue. So I will go to access policy now. In this access policy, I will go to policies first, and I will go to interfaces because I want to create an policies for interfaces. And here you see a link level. By default, there is here a template will be created for you, but I will right click on this one and I will say create a link level policy, and I will say that this policy name is link, and auto negotiation should be on because it will auto negotiate the duplex. Speed, I want to define my speed. The port speed should be 10 gigabytes. That is what I want to define. So I am defining some parameters to a port. So submit. So I have created this template, and it's been not applied now. It will be just created. That's all. All right, you got the here link. So now, if I want to discover the devices, if it's a Cisco device, the CDP. For example, here we will be having both of them will be Cisco servers. Okay. So Cisco servers means CDP protocol will be running. So by default, you have one more template here also, which is disabled. So what I will do, I will create a new CDP policy, and I will say that CDP enable. I want to enable it.
Okay.
And then select enable and submit. Since my servers are Cisco, I don't need the LLDP. So I will right click and create a new policy saying that LLDP disable. And I will select disable, submit.
And submit.
So here you can create many more, but later on we will be seeing one by one. But for now, for the physical domain, we need three. Link level, define the how much 10 GB of gigabytes of speed, and CDP enable because CDP discovery should be enabled, and LLDP link level discovery should be disabled, which we have done here.
Okay.
So now I have created this one, but I have to apply this policy somewhere, right?
Yes.
So now I will, once the interfaces policies are ready, I will go back to switch policies.
Okay.
Switch leaf interfaces. So I have to go to interfaces. In this interfaces, I want to apply these policies to leaf interfaces. So here there is a policy group. I want to create a policy group so that I can apply these parameters in this policy group. After this, in this policy group, I can apply to that particular interface. I will right click on the leaf access port, right click, create a new access port, because this port will be an access port, leaf access port. So this port will be a leaf access port. So now what I have done is like I have created a CDP policy, I have created a LDDP policy and link level policy. So So these three will be called in a policy group. So in this policy group, I will define AAEP. In this AAEP, I will define my physical domain. What I will do, I will just rub off this one and I will just create a chart so that it will be easy to understand. So now first I have created the interface policy, that is CDP, link level policy and LLDP. These three will be called in a policy group.
Yes.
In this policy group, this will be defined CDP, LLDP and link, and after that AAEP will be defined here. So in this AAEP, you will define my domain is a physical domain and I will define my VLANs, what are like 100 to 103 or something, whatever the VLANs and all the information will be in this easy AAEP, and these all will be included in this policy, and this policy will be applied on a interface. So this is the whole template you are creating at once. So this will be created differently. These three will be called in a policy. Then again, in an AEP, you will call different parameters which will be included into the policy. And once this whole policy is ready, the whole template is ready, you will apply that template to a interface, to that particular leaf interface. So basically you are creating everything in the ACI and you are just pushing that configuration to the leaf. When the leaf receives it, the template, it will open it and it will assign those values to the particular interface, that is 1/10. Alright. So now this is my leaf access port. So I will give like policy group. So I will say that policy group name. So here you see here link level policy, which I have created link, I can call here. CDP policy, which I said like CDP enable, and LLDP policy, which I created LLDP disable, I am calling here. So now attachment entity profile. So I will go ahead and I will create a new one. So what is this one? So what are going to define in this one? So I will say that AEP, the name of this one. So here you see here, what is that? This is my physical domain. So I click on add button and I will say that create a physical domain, and I have to give the name like physical domain. So this is my name. I don't have any VLAN pool. So I will create a VLAN pool by saying that VLAN pool. And I will say that static, because this is physical, so I am allowing static allocation and I'm adding the range here. So 100 to maybe like 110 and say that static allocation and say OK, submit. So now submit. So in this access entity profile, you are defining your domain. In that domain, you are defining that this is my VLAN, which will be allocated statically. So these two things will be defined: domain and VLANs. Update. All right, done. So you can create the EPGs. We will come on later on, I think so. All right, we will create these EPGs later on, not now. Okay. So I will say submit. So my whole policy is ready now. AAP is ready, link level, everything is ready. Submit. Now I have one policy which will be ready. Now it's ready to assign to some of the profiles. So now the policy group is there, but I want to create some profile interface for which interface I want to apply. So I will go to profiles here. I don't have any. Click create a leaf interface profile.
Okay.
So I am giving like for leaf 101, it was like 1/10. This is my interface name. So I am selecting the interface and I will give the interface name as 1-10 and interface ID is 1/10. That is my real interface. And I created the policy group, right?
Yes.
So I will call that policy group. So what all the things I have defined in this policy group will be applied to this interface.
Okay.
Submit. So now my profile is ready. So my interface profile is ready. So now I have to apply to the switch. To which switch? I have created a total profile by name 1/10. So this interface is ready, but which switch you want to apply for? So you have to go back to again switches. Here you have leaf switches. In this leaf switches, you go to profiles, create a new profile, and you say that 1/10, that is my interface, and you click on add, and here you will select, give a name like leaf 101 because I want to apply to that leaf, and I will select the node ID, that is leaf 101. This is my node, and I want to select I don't have any switch policy group, so I will say update. So I created an interface just now. I am just calling that interface here. So next. Yeah, so I just see, I know it's like total little bit of confusion. So now I first created the policies here, then I created the interface policy, defined everything, all the values. Then I am coming to switches where I will be applying to that physical interface. So leaf switches, and I will go to profile, create a leaf profile 1/10, and I will say that please my leaf name is leaf 101, node is 101, update this one, next, and my interface is 1/10, please finish. A quick recap. So now I have created the CDP policy, LLDP policy, link level policy. I have defined those policies in a policy group. Inside this policy group, I have defined AAEP. So these will be included in this one. So this profile I have called into interface profiles. So using these parameters, I have created one interface profile. Using these parameters, I have created a profile, one more profile. So this was a policy group, which will having all the policies in this one together. And this policy group, I will call into the interface profile. Now the interface profile is ready. I just need to push it to some of the interface. Which interface? So I am pushing to leaf 101. In that leaf 0101, interface number is 1/10. So first I created the policies. I have grouped all the policy into one group. After that group will be called into the policy interface profile. Once this profile is called here, I can assign it to leaf 101/10. I can assign these same policies to another leaf also. Leaf might be 102. Port number can be, interface will be 1/10 only, because I have defined the interface for 1/10. I have created a profile for 1/10, so I can apply 1/10 for many switches if they have the same configuration.
Okay.
Right. So now we have created a switch for one, so we will go ahead and create the another one. So here I will come back to the fabric access policy, interfaces, leaf interfaces, profiles. I will create one more profile again, and this will be for 1/20. This is for leaf 102. I will say 1/20. My interface ID is 1/20, and I will call the same policy groups here also. Okay, submit. So now leaf 101 I have 10, leaf 102 I have created 120. Okay, 1/20. I will come back to my profiles. I have already one profile created for leaf 101. So I'll right click and I will create one more, and I will say like name 1/20. Add here, and I will provide the name. You can provide any name, but I am providing the leaf 102 so that I can understand that it is for the leaf 102. And when you click here the switches, you will find your leaf 102, select it, update it, next. Now here I have two profiles. Which profile you want to select? I want to select 120. Finish. That's all. Now this configuration has been pushed to switches.
Yep.
Clear about this one? So this is the physical domain, physical configuration.
Okay.
Now comes the logical one. So this is related to only for the one. If you want to push any settings, that is for the only for one port now. So now logical. So first I will create one tenant.
Okay.
So this tenant will be having one VRF. Alright. So one tenant can have multiple VRF. Like that, one VRF can have multiple bridge domains. So these are bridge domains. These are like act as a gateway.
Okay.
So one VRF can have multiple bridge domains. But one tenant can have multiple VRF. One VRF can have multiple bridge domain, but bridge domain can have only one VRF. Alright. These domains cannot have multiple VRFs. Only one bridge domain can be associated. If you have created bridge domain name like BD1, it can be only assigned to only one VRF, or either for VRF1 or VRF2, whatever might be the name. Anyone, it can be only associated to anyone. You cannot reuse to VRF2.
Okay.
So after that, you will create one application profile. In that application profile, you will create define your server. So we have one servers here. So that one, what we call that as, so like endpoint group. So we will create a group inside this profile. So you will first create a tenant. So that tenant, in that tenant, you will create a VRF. After that VRF, you will create a bridge domain. After that, you will create the application profile. In that application profile, you will create an endpoint group. In that endpoint group, you will define your servers. So now this is everything will be on the ACI. So in ACI, you will create a tenant first. After creating a tenant, you will create a VRF associated to that tenant. After creating the VRF, you will create a bridge domain for that particular VRF to act as a gateway. So we will provide some IP address like 20.1.1.1. Then we will create one application profile. In that application profile, you will define your server here. So in that endpoint group, so EPG, those are called as EPGs, endpoint group. So you will define one endpoint group. In that endpoint group, you will define as a server. But this server is, that doesn't mean that this server is located in ACI. But we are creating an application profile. In that group, we are creating a group. In that group, we are defining our server. So this one is confusing again. So first, this is my ACI. In that ACI, I will be creating one tenant. In that tenant, I will create one VRF. So this will be used for routing. And this will be the bridge gateway domain, gateway for your particular application profile. And here you will create one EPG group. In this EPG group, you will define your servers. So we will go with the practical if you will have some knowledge about that one. So now first thing is that first we have to create the tenant. So I will go ahead to the tenant tab first. So here you have 3 common infra management, which we will look into later on. How to use the common one, infra one, and why we use the management one. So we will look into that afterwards. So just click on here, create a new tenant. So I will give this as a tenant 1 name, and that's all. Submit. So once I click on submit, I will be taken into my tenant. So this is, once I get into my tenant, by default you will get into your networking tab. So first I will create the VRFs. So right click here, create a VRF. So I will say that VRF1, and I will uncheck this one. You can check this one, but I am unchecking this one so that I can create the bridge domain also separately. So in creating the VRF only, I am providing the name, no more configuration. By default, I am using the default configuration, what has been given here. Say finish. So this is your VRF. Now I will go to bridge domain and I will right click, create a bridge domain. I will give this one as a BD1, name as a BD1. So now here I will call my VRF, which I have created. Next, here I will define my gateway IP address. So suppose you can say that like my gateway IP address is 20.20.1.1/24. Okay, that's all. This is my gateway. Next, if you want to do monitoring, you can select any profiles if you have created, but we are not doing now, so finish. So we have created a tenant, we have created the VRF, we have created the bridge domain. So now it's time to create the application profile. So now I will go to the application profile, right click, create application profile, and here it will ask you for the name. So this one is like a bare metal host, so BMH. So here it asking you to create the EPGs. So I will select plus sign and I will say that this might be like physical EPGs. Here it is asking you to select the bridge domain which we have created, and here we are selecting the physical domain which we have created, update, submit. So now our application profile BMH has been created. In this one we have created one EPG. So if I go to the application EPG, here I can see my real. So now here I am going to define what is my server, where is my server, because now the physical connectivity is already there. Okay, so we have pushed already the configuration now. So this was a spine, leaf and ACI. So from here to the host 1, from here to the host 2. So this was like 1/20 and this was 1/10. We have already pushed the configuration. So now whenever the configuration has been pushed, it will start discovering this server by CDP protocol. Okay, so it will automatically start discovering and it will receive the information of this host now. So what we are doing that in ACI, we are creating a tenant. In that tenant, we are creating VRF for routing. Then we are creating a default gateway, that is bridge domain for this host. So here you don't have any IP addresses. In this port, there is no IP address. So it will discover it automatically. And once you define this gateway, and once you define the server into this BMH, whatever the EPG which we have created, this server should be able to ping to the ACI, that is default gateway. So if your configuration is right here, then this server should be able to ping to the default gateway, that is the bridge domain which we have created by name 20.1.1.1. So now here I have the EPG, but I have to define what kind of port is that, how to discover. I want to send some configuration to that ports. Mike, whenever you receive the information, bring it to ACI and let him, communicate. So now we will do that one now. So I will go to the static ports. So by default, I don't have any ports. Deploy an EPG static port. I want to deploy and port. So port, it's a port, not a direct port channel or virtual port channel. It's just a port, and node, it's for the leaf 101. And what is that one? Port number is 1/10 for 101. We want to provide the VLAN number as 100, which we have already created in AAP 100 to 110. And you want to do the deployment immediately. So once you submit, click on submit, it will automatically deploy. And this port should be an access port. And here you can add your gateway or wildcard, but I'm not adding anything here. That's all. So you have to define the type of port, to which leaf, which switch you want to send this configuration, and which interface you want to send, what VLAN you want to assign, and when you want to deploy this, and submit. So I said immediately, it will be applied immediately. So now, if this server now tried to ping to this bridge domain, that is default gateway, it should be able to ping. So now the one host is have a reachability to the switch. So this host has a reachability to the ACI. So now my traffic is flowing from here to here. So we will configure in the same way this one also. So in this one I will create one more static port, because I am defining both of these hosts in one EPG. So host 1 and 2 both will be included in physical EPG which we have created. So logically they are in one place only. Physically they are in different places, but logically we are creating them in one place so that they are able to communicate with each other. So now I will go ahead and I will create one more now. Click on deploy static port, same port, part type should be port, and this one for the leaf 102, and here I think 1/20 which we have selected, 1/20, and I will say that VLAN 101, and I want to say immediately, and switch port mode. This one usually it will be trunk, but I am selecting access because I have the physical connectivity. Submit. So now these two servers should be able to ping to the ACI since they are in the same EPGs. So host 1 and host 2 are in the same EPG. So we have logically created them in one EPG, that is physical EPG. So by default they are able to ping to each other. So communication by default will happen. So now according to our diagram we have created into one EPG, so by default they should be able to communicate with each other. So this is regarding with the same two hosts in the same EPG. So now what we can do is like another scenario will be same EPG, different subnets. Same EPG, but different subnets. Means this IP address was like 20.1.1.2, this IP address was 20.1.1.3, so the default gateway was 20.1.1.1. So by default when they are in the same EPG they are able to communicate. Now what we will do, same EPGs, they will be in a one EPG, but these subnets will be different, 30.0.1.1.3, and here we will create one more default gateway in the same bridge domain by name 30.1.1.1. So we'll go ahead and we will create that one. So I will go back to my tenant and I will go back to my application networking tab first. In that networking tab, I will go back to my bridge domain, which I have created here. And in this bridge domain, I will go to subnets. And in this subnet, by default, this one is selected, 20.1.1.4. Now I want to create one more gateway, that is 30.1.1/24 subnet. Now you have different gateway. So now the scenario is like this now. So here this host can communicate to 20.1.1 but not communicate to 30.1.1. This host can communicate to 30.1.1 but cannot communicate to 20.1.1. Alright, because we have differentiated now. They are in the same EPGs but different subnets. So by default, they need a routing to communicate between two subnets. Right? By default, you need a routing between if you want to communicate between two subnets. But here you have something called contracts. Right? So we have something called like contract. So where is the contracts? Here is the contract. So here I will create a standard contract. Right click, create a contract. So I think in the same EPGs, my apologies, whether they are in the different, one second, they are in the same EPG. That means endpoint group, you have host 1, host 2, but different subnets, that is 10 network, this is 20 network, this is 30 network. Still they are able to communicate because they are in the one bridge domain. So by default, they have the connectivity to their only one bridge domain. Still they can able to ping. Still they are able to communicate. So no need of contracts in this one. So still they are able to communicate because the bridge domain will automatically do the routing because they are in the same EPG, in only one EPG. Now what we will do, we will create a different EPGs. So one we have created like physical EPG. One more we will create as a logical EPG. And in this one, you will have the host one with 20.1.1.1 bridge domain. And in this one, you will have host 2 with 30.1.1.1 bridge domain. So logical diagram will be tenant, VRF, but you have bridge domain 2, bridge domain 1 and 2. Here you will have the gateway IP address of 20.1.1. Here you have the gateway IP address of 30.1.1. Here you have your physical EPG, and here you will have your logical EPG. So now they cannot communicate with each other. How to communicate? So first we will create the EPGs now. So I will go back to my bridge domain here. I will go to my subnet and I will remove this one. Click on the settings and delete. So now I will go ahead and I will go to my application profile. I will right click and I will create an application, one more EPG, that is, go to your BMH and application EPG, and here you will create a new endpoint group, that is LOG EPG, and here you should be calling bridge domain. So I did not create a different bridge domain. So first I will create the bridge domain. So where is the bridge domain? Here are the bridge domain. So right click on the bridge domain on the networking tab. Create one more bridge domain, that is BD2. That's all. And select the VRF, that is VRF1, tenant 1. Next. And create a gateway for this one, like 30.1.1/24. Okay. Next, finish. Now I have two bridge domains, so I will go ahead and I will right click here, create an EPG, and I will say that LOG log EPG, and I'm saying that to use the bridge domain. Which one? Bridge domain 2, not the 1. So next, finish. So now I have 2 EPGs here with 2 different bridge domains with 2 different IP addresses, subnets. So now I want to communicate between these 2. So this is your PHY EPG and this is your log EPG. So by default you cannot communicate. So how to communicate? You create a contract. Which contract? Standard contract. So standard contract will be by default bidirectional. That means if you apply this contract, anyone can become a provider and anyone can become a consumer. So even if it's a provider or consumer, they can able to ping or they can able to communicate with each other bidirectional. If we are creating a standard, it's a bidirectional. So we will create a standard contract. So I will go ahead and I will come back to my tenants. In that tenants, and I will go to contracts here. In that contracts, right click on standard, click create, and we say that contract 1 scope is VRF. So we are creating a contract with the scope VRF. That means within this VRF, I'm creating contract for a VRF. So VRF means in this VRF, what all the bridge domains, how many bridge domains you have? 2 bridge domains. It will be applied for these both. So I can go into that VRF and I can go into that EPGs. In that particular EPGs, there can be many EPGs. Then I can say to that particular EPG, you provide, you consume, you provide, you consume. So my scope is VRF. If I go to my scope as a bridge domain, then the EPGs will become less. So this bridge domain might have only 1. So it will become only provider or consumer. So I have to go for another bridge domains. So these all things. So the scope should be, mostly it will be VRF. It depends on your production, but I am going with the VRF. I did one more mistake, so I will go ahead and I will just delete this one. Create a new contract and I will say CONT1, and here you see that subject. But what contract, what kind of protocol you want to allow? Click on add and say that I want to allow ping between those 2 hosts. So those 2 servers should only ping. Apart from ping, they should not do any other communication. So I will give the name as a ping and I will add a ping, that is ICMP protocol. I'll click on this one. By default it is available here, so I will use that one and I will say update. If you want to create a new profile, you can create a new profile by saying that you can create a filter also. So here you will have some option. So here you click on OK, submit. So if you want to create a filter, so if you create a filter here, and I will say that SSH here, and I will click on add, and I will say name as SSH, and I will say that ether type as IP address, because I want to, if you want to do SSH, it should be IP address, and protocol, what kind of protocol you want to do. So I will select that's a TCP protocol, update, submit. So now I created a filter separately. I can call into that contract also. This is my contract, okay, which I have already created. So I will go ahead and I will check where I can apply that one. So if I go to the policies, in that policies, see, I have defined the ping. So now I will go ahead. So I will go ahead and I will add like SSH here, and here I will click on add, and here I will select the profile which I have created SSH and say update. So what kind of protocol you want to allow, you will be creating in this contract. So once this contract is ready, it's ready to get consumed and provide. So this is a standard one. It doesn't matter who, any EPG can be provider or a consumer. So I will go to application profiles. This is my BMH and this is my EPG. So I will right click on this one and I will say that provide a contract. So what is a contract? I have created this one, submit. Now I'm saying to the physical EPG, right click, consume the contract. So what is the contract? This is the contract, and submit. Now these two servers will be able to do the ping and SSH to each other after creating a contract. So in a sense, a contract means an access list. So in a sense, a contract means an access list.